Hi, my name is Nathan Smith. I'm the Executive Director of EverForward, and we are behind the Hillsborough High School VR experience, and we are excited to bring it to the community. The team here at McCarty has been absolutely fantastic. From a simple idea and a simple vision that we brought forward to the community and the community rallied behind, to bringing this thing to life in a virtual reality space, it is something that truly no one else other than McCarty could have done.
I'm Dallas Puckett. I'm a project architect and also a partner. The iconic building itself was a symbol of Hillsborough as you traveled east on 50, and it kind of welcomed you into town, kind of set the tone as you drive by of what the town was. I think when the building was demolished, people had a soft spot for that building because it was part of where their childhood was and those memories.
Over the last year that we've been building and planning this, I've spoken to so many different people, and every single person that I talked to said, I have honestly never heard of anything like what you guys are doing.
It's a project with no cons. Most of our projects, we weigh a lot of pros and cons, and this is one where it's also an opportunity for our team to grow. And honestly, we hope that other communities can see this project and maybe follow suit. Before we even started, we were able to go into our survey and civil engineers archives, and we found that we actually surveyed the property in 2008, so just shortly before demolition occurred. So we had all the exact locations of pavement and trees and the size of the trees and where the fences are and all the exact topography. So we were able to take all of that data and put it into our model exactly as it was.
They are the perfect firm positioned to make this thing happen. They are local. They are a half mile from the original school site. They are motivated. Many people who work here and are designing the model went to Hillsborough High School.
Our team is incredible with a lot of skill sets that serve this project really well. Riley Stratton is a Hillsborough High School graduate. She has taken charge of modeling the building in Revit, which is a 3D drafting program essentially.
That's when Dallas was like, we have this new VR project. We went ahead and talked about it with Nathan. We want you working on it all summer. And so that's what I did pretty much all summer, was getting the model figured out and going through and finding all the blueprints from the high school board of education and going out to the historical society and reaching out to the community as well.
Anytime you have a project that's close to home, there's an extra motivation factor. It seems like the further away from you they get, the more like work it becomes. But when you can tie in, a personal tie to a project, it gives it that extra little oomph.
What you design and what's drawn is different than what's built. So trying to figure out where the differences were in the drawings and in reality to make it as close as possible to what actually stood before it was torn down was frustrating, but I learned a lot along the way.
Typically we get walls and doors and windows and all the things you would expect. We've taken it to the level of all the profiles of all the trim and the proscenium and the auditorium and the stage curtains and all those fine details she's been able to model.
When I told my grandpa, he was absolutely ecstatic, because that's also where he met my grandma, which was his high school sweetheart. And getting to talk about his memories of going to school there and seeing the additions being built in 1964, and then getting to talk to my dad about his good old days playing basketball and football. And that's how I got most of the building modeled, was sitting and talking to my dad one day. Brought in lunch and we figured out where I needed to fix and what it was good to stay and everything.
Courtney Whalen is one of our co-ops. She's at the University of Cincinnati, and she is kind of our resident VR guru.
We also took it into Twinmotion, and we produced 360 panoramic images, and it will essentially transport you into the digital reality space. And so with that, you can put the headset on and you can look around and really experience the space for what it is and experience those memories all over again. And I think that's what's really important for the community, is there's a lot of people that do want to experience this building again, and with VR and the new technologies, we can do that.
I think places hold memories, and buildings especially do. And so when people think of the building, they're not necessarily thinking of the brick and mortar and the floors. They're thinking of, that's where, me and my friend hung out. That's where I met my first boyfriend or girlfriend. That one class that I had with that awesome teacher.
The school was in such a central part of Hillsboro. Like, my dad grew up like a block away from it and walked to school, and being able to walk those halls and be able to see it again, just like a sense of history being brought back and being preserved instead of just being torn down and forgotten.
This project says that Hillsboro is pushing into the future. And the really fun thing about virtual reality is that it's in kind of the equivalent of the phone world's flip phone. We're just at the very beginning here. The tools are going to get better. And when we unveil this thing, I don't think it should be construed as this is like the finish line. This is a moment in time of where we are. There's going to be more opportunities in the future to do more things with it as technology evolves. But Hillsboro will have, as far as I know, one of the first of its kind of this kind of build.
We're excited to take it from the Hillsboro community into thousands of other communities across the country and say, hey, why doesn't everybody do this? Why can't everybody create digital artifacts and digital spaces of places that are lost and become sort of Indiana Joneses on their own, where they're bringing the past back to life and sharing it with future generations?